should women be in combat?
I think it's a matter of just because we can doesn't mean we should. And scrutinizing that question is really important. It's something that Pete is adamant about because he's recognizing the lowered standards, how this ideology is infiltrating and messing with the lethality of our defense and our warfighters that are serving abroad. Ultimately, we want the best and the brightest, the most ferocious individuals to serve in uniform. And so the biggest key thing that I didn't mention was when you lower standards so women can pass these hardcore tests to go into combat jobs. Think of now the betas in the male population who are getting by as well. So it's now a standard that is hitting women just so they can pass, but then it's also a standard in which lower capable men are now getting through these courses. So what does that mean to the alpha fighter who is out there and went through the standards that were higher, and they're seeing the type of warfighter that's standing next to them in combat? They're going to be dealing with the repercussions as well. So it's not a matter of women being, can they, should they, blah, blah, blah. What are we doing to mess with the standards that are now infiltrating our brothers and sisters who are going to be in the front lines?
That's a great point, Jessica. I can't understand the concept when it's our military, where it's like, about fairness, about all that. We want to win at all costs. I mean, that's what we hope. As a civilian myself, we are depending on our special warfighters, our military, to protect us, foreign and domestically. And if we're going to be lowering the standards, it's not just them that's going to suffer. It's ultimately us. The ones that are being protected are the ones that are going to suffer from all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that I got to serve in the Marine Corps as a woman when there was only 7% joining and being in capacity in the United States Marine Corps. It was the smallest percentage of women in any other branch. There was something very prideful about that, and I want to continue to honor and recognize the women that were before me and that come after me. But we have to be practical. Biology goes down to our bones. What does war say when you are not fit enough, when you are not ferocious enough to react to an adversary? A lot of women are physically not the same, on par to our male counterparts when it comes to muscle mass, bone density, speed, agility, all of these things. And it doesn't mean that we can't serve in another capacity, especially intellectually. We come forward with some great ideas, but just because we can doesn't mean we should. And that's the question that Pete's asking.
And that's what they've tried to do with Pete Hegseth, where they try to twist it to say he doesn't think women should be in the military at all. And that's what they're trying to do. And that was not what he was trying to say.
No, not at all. He respects every single person in uniform. And I say person, again, because specifically he is thinking about the character of the person and the individual in uniform, not based on their class, their color, their creed, their gender, or anything else in between. Who is that warfighter? Are they high caliber? Are they executing what we ask them to do as a United States service member?
How important is the Secretary of Defense as far as the people down the line, down, all the way? I would imagine in the groups like of the politicians and all that stuff, it's important to all of them, but the person serving on the line, your role in particular, were you aware of who the Secretary of Defense is? How much does it matter to the average Joe or Jane serving on the line?
Ultimately, there are being decisions that are made that we don't even really understand as an E1, E2, E3, E4. And as a young Marine, I kind of just put my head down and did my job. But that's why I'm advocating now as a veteran who's 30 years old. I'm still pretty young in the game, where I can see the big hiccups that were happening and the over-the-head type of mentality of decisions where things were not being done with people's best interests. So I think that ultimately younger warfighters are looking more to the higher echelon of leadership to say, what's going on here? This isn't right. And they are trying to advocate for their rights and what they believe in. And I don't believe that's historically been done. We kind of just put our heads down and followed orders. Now we are looking to question our leaders because horrible things have been done. The withdrawal from Afghanistan is a prime example of that. We want answers. We're tired of serving for an administration and ultimately a representation of the country that no longer serves in the best interest of those in uniform.
Really well said. Thank you for your service. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of time on the Alec Lace Show.
You're listening to the Alec Lace Show. The future is family.